This change in the level of consciousness or some changes that are going to occur?
I know something going to happen. In the dangerous situation is the Mother Earth now, and the conscience of the universe begin telling us something is wrong. Something is wrong. All the pollution, all this contamination to the atmosphere and everything like that's gonna affect everything. And then maybe in that way we come to the end in 2012.
There's ample evidence of a mounting sense of risk in society. The very advancement of knowledge is also advancing fear. Now the problem is heightened sense of risk, global scope of risk, and less trust in the traditional community basis that gave us confidence in life.
And it's the fear which is driving many people to armed survivalism, hidden bunkers, and even plans of a rainbow bridge to safety. At a beach resort in Cancun, Mexico, Jose Arguelles leads a morning meditation. He is perhaps the most popular modern messiah of the 2012 movement. He's been recruiting since the 80s when he spoke about 2012 as the new solar age.
The prophets are saying this is the time when we are all reaping what we sow.
More recently, Jose Arguelles has been delivering a darker message.
Obviously, we're at a point where something has to give. This is a giant planetary type of fever, and I'm just saying, okay, when you get to that point there, then and the fever's going to break, make sure you land on your feet and start running. I also mean, don't look back and be attached to what's going down, okay?
Arguelles is a wizard at delivering his message through the media. He helped organize the 1970s Earth Day, was the founder of the Worldwide Harmonic Convergence for Peace in 1986, and came out with one of the first bestsellers on the calendar end date called The Mayan Factor.
Maybe what we're actually being prepared for is something new, something better, something that's going to transcend the institutions as we know them now and give us a new lease on life.
It's a rosy vision of 2012 that Arguelles believes will come true if we all meditate at the precise moment of that solar flare, transforming it into a rainbow bridge around the planet.
So I just know, hey, this is the vision. I'm going there. And as many other people want to come with me, hallelujah.
I stress, it is the New Age movement. The whole thing is about a new age coming. So it's a soft apocalypticism because it is going to involve some kind of new world order. And of course, it's partly being used, as apocalypticism always has been, as a recruitment device.
Dennis McClung didn't get spooked by New Age messengers. He got there all on his own. After starting to write a novel about the end of the world in 2012, he became convinced by the research he dug up. He stopped writing and drained the swimming pool.
When I first began, not too many things were happening in our world. Then I watched, more and more economic crises happening. I watched more and more war. I watched more and more ecological catastrophes happen, and it seems to be increasing at an ever-increasing pace as we approach the year 2012. I don't consider myself a prophet, but I think it could be a serious catastrophe. The end of the world as we know it.
McClung has a plan A, to stay safely at home and become self-sufficient, off the grid.
Most people in the face of mounting world risks, high consequence risks, feel there's nothing they can do, right? It's all too much. What am I supposed to do? The advantage of apocalyptic movements is they give you something to do.
If things get really bad, McClung will switch to Plan B. He'll move his family from their house in the city to a survival community in the hills near Arizona. He and his partner, Jim, are organizing a resettlement area on 17 hectares of land.
You go ahead and hand me that grain first.
Jim doesn't want to use his last name. He says it's to protect his career, and that's all he'll say about that. But he's happy to show off the sponsor who's helping out with supplies in return for product placement.
You can hand me the rice and then the beans. We're not out to become rich. We're not out to be millionaires. It's not what we want to do. We want to genuinely help people be ready for any type of situation. It's hot today, huh? Check this out, man. Little pickers in there. Yep. See? It's about 50 bucks. The way that yellow gold shines in the sun, huh? Mm-hmm.
Jim's been panning for gold because he believes it will be the only currency after the cataclysm, and he's determined to protect it and the secret location of his survival site by any means necessary.
There are bad people out there in the world and you can't get away from them. If they come around, the least you can do is have a means of protection.
There's no evidence that the individuals are suffering from any kind of psychopathology. There's no obvious difference for most of these people socially. They used to be disproportionately from the disprivileged, from the poor, from those who had had a harsh life. That's not the case anymore. Now they're ordinary Joes. They're unremarkable.
Patrick Gerald believes the cataclysm will be triggered by the Earth reversing its rotation, and once that happens, the challenge will be to survive the tidal waves. One option may be to ride it out on a boat, but Gerald warns navigation will be tricky.
You lose your longitude and also your latitude. Where there is at this moment land, after the cataclysm, there could be water.
How do you want me to react? That's total nonsense. What do you want? I mean, really, how can I talk about that? What do you want me to do?
Gerald calculates that about 20,000 people, in the right boats, might make it through, but he won't be one of them.
I have opted for another route of survival because I'm easily seasick, and it is complicated for a very large group to have all the survival material.
Through his website, he is petitioning for worldwide help to build a survival community in the mountains.
Send me an email to my website, and then we can do something about this. Highest mountain.
Gerald has teamed up with survivalist Louis de Cordier. They aim to build a doomsday-proof community in the Sierra Nevada mountains of Spain.
It's my goal to survive this, but I don't want to be the new CEO from the new world or the new boss or something like that. But before the cataclysm, I think I am one of the best to do this.
How many meters, Patrick?
This is exactly 20 meters, Louis. This will be the size of the couple.
When we will get a lot of people, then we have to move to more remote locations like Africa, Asia, Arabia.
The dream is to have several locations on different places. More I can't tell at this moment.
Retired accountant Pam Walters knows exactly where she's going to make her last stand. She's moved to a small town in West Virginia to build an underground colony out of shipping containers.
I felt somehow I had to do this. It's my mission. I must see it through.
As far back as the 1980s, Walters had a feeling that something was coming.
It was just a sensing. It was, I couldn't really put my finger on it, but I knew there was danger coming.
The internet led her to the information about the infamous planet Nibiru, which she believes is already causing a magnetic pull on Earth and increasing its temperature. It's the first stage of the catastrophe she sees coming in 2012. And what's worse, she thinks the government knows it and isn't telling anyone.
The governments are covering it up. They know what's going on. And I believe they're doing it because they don't want mass hysteria.
Walters has created a site that encourages other people to open up their eyes.
We're talking a very small percentage here that really sees the whole picture.
When people don't have confidence in central authority, they turn to other sources. And this becomes a hotbed of conspiracy theory. And I think one of the things you'll find on the internet is that much of the 2012 mythology is tied together with other conspiracy theory.
Peter Gersten is a criminal lawyer living in Arizona who made a name for himself studying UFOs. He's bought into a wild conspiracy theory that goes like this. Human beings exist in a computer program. And on December 21st, 2012, at 11:11 a.m., the exact time of the winter solstice, the current program shuts down.
I can tell you what's going to happen, what I believe is going to happen, but I'm still receiving information about it.
Gersten believes he's received a sign that he's been chosen for a mission. To jump off Bell Rock in Sedona, Arizona at the exact moment of the solstice. And if he does, he can save the world.
And I'm not doing it out of desperation or despondency. In other words, I'm doing it because I believe I need to do it to help my children, to help my grandchildren, to help all carbon-based life forms. If I'm wrong, everybody dies.
At 11:11 a.m., Gersten says a portal in the sky will open, and if he leaps through it, the prophecies of doom will be undone.
We ourselves have a sense maybe that we're engaged in a kind of artificial world where people aren't willing to really live by their beliefs. And this causes estrangement from society for certain people. So they think the right order has gone astray. Now what the apocalyptic or prophetic belief system offers is a new vision, right, and a new sense of how, in fact, there is some kind of governing force in this world that wants to set things right.
But before he sets things right, Gersten hopes to make a little money.
And it'd be nice if it was documented, if it was recorded. And it'd be nice if I anticipate that and say, okay, let's do it now and let's make some money, because there probably are things that I need to do that probably will take funds.
And there's the rub. It wouldn't be doomsday without money being made. From doomsday tourism to luxury underground condos, 2012 is shaping up to be a bonanza. It's the must-do 2012 event. A week in Cancun, Mexico with all the big-name prophets and a tour of Maya's sacred sites. Price? $2,145 a head.
Usually in most of these movements, people have no problem with leaders or others turning a dollar on it, as long as it's within certain kind of acceptable boundaries. If it's obvious that somebody's exploiting the situation too much, then that can be seen as problematic and delegitimating the exercise. But it's a fine balance.
It's the critical mass of people who are going to have to pull it off and set the example.
More than 250 paying customers have come from as far away as Japan, New Zealand, and South Africa to a conference called The Tipping Point. The idea is to turn fears about the 2012 end date into a force for change.
And I think that the fear is actually part of what's waking people up.
The atmosphere